what goes into making that leap from regional publications to the national book market now that you're considered a debut author, 4 books in? And
Yes.
you've got a couple of others coming out as well, don't you, still from MT?
I do. I have one that was actually going to come out here before the end of the year, and with a number of obstacles, some mine and some just the business. That book has gotten pushed back a little bit. It's the first one coming out is called A Clean Sweep, and it is about an LST ship that was built during World War II in Evansville, Indiana. And we had a shipyard here in the middle of the Midwest, which is a very unsuspecting place for a shipyard. And so it talks about kids that worked at the shipyard and how they, even though they were children, they were custodians and they pushed brooms and cleaned up and helped the war effort just as much as anybody else as an adult could do to support our country during those times. And so I'm excited about this book. I really feel like this will be well received, even on a national level, because of the history involved. But that book comes out that we have an LST, an actual ship that is a museum here in Evansville, and it's actually moving to a new location on our riverfront in the spring. And so the timing of the book now is going to be considered a little bit moved towards that date, which we think will be a better marketing timing for the book. So I'm excited about that. I love history. I had no idea how much I loved history until I started writing. And then the other book that's coming out this spring, or next spring, is called SIDELINE SLUGGER, and it's about a bat boy that works at a baseball stadium, which is called Bosse Field, and again, it's here in Evansville, and it is the third oldest baseball field still in use in the United States, next to Fenway Field and Wrigley Field. And who knew that happened to be in the town where I lived? And so it's used by our high school teams, and also we have a team called the Otters. And my husband would be proud of me if I could tell you what league the Otters were in, but it's a minor league team. I can't remember the actual name of the league, but it was also used in the movie A League of Their Own. And so we had Tom Hanks and Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell, and all of the stars in that movie were here in Evansville, and that was the focus of most of that movie.
Did you get to meet him or just see him across the street?
I didn't get to see them. I wish I had gone and signed up to be an extra during the movie. That would have been really fun. But I've been to that stadium many, many times to watch ball games, and it is a beautiful stadium, and we're very fortunate that we have a very active historic restoration program here in Evansville, and so we've been able to maintain and restore a lot of historic buildings, especially the baseball stadium and Willard Library, with the lady of the library, and so history is important to us here.
Grew up in Lebanon, and there was a couple of seconds in the movie Hoosiers where our theater, the Avon Theater that's since burned down, the marquee was there and it had some message about the basketball team. And so when we would watch it in class, we'd wait, and then when we saw our Lebanon theater, we'd all go, yay! And then the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and actually at Bosse Field, there's still a lot of signage and everything that is still there from when they filmed the movie.
How long have you lived in Evansville?
I grew up here, so I'm 52. I'm not afraid to share that. So I've lived here my whole life, and it is such a great place. We're the third largest city in Indiana, but we're 2 hours from Louisville, Nashville, St. Louis, and Indianapolis, and so I can go see a off-Broadway show in just a couple hours, or visit, family and friends, and but we get to come back to Evansville, and it's a little quieter and great place to raise a family.
You ever see yourself living someplace else?
I really have an affinity for the beach. I did a session one time with an editor named Kendra Levin, and she had us visualizing where we would be in 10 years. And I was living in a beach house, and it was red. So yeah, I do. My husband works for the state of Indiana. He's a civil engineer, so we're here for a while. But our kids are grown, and they've all sort of, moved on in their own lives and their own homes, and so I don't know. I wouldn't say that I would always stay here. We'll see.
Well, it seems you're extremely pro Evansville.
I am.
Just because of all the books you've written about the history. You've got your built-in base there in the third largest city in Indiana. Is there more history yet to be plumbed, you think, from Evansville that you've got planned for future books?
I do, absolutely. Evansville, of course, we're the crossroads of America and Indiana. But there is a lot of interesting history here. There's a creek here called Pigeon Creek, and it is named after homing pigeons that used to reside near the creek, and they would send messages out to people during the war, especially, very important messages that would help with the war effort, I think. So that's an interest for me. To work on, a book that possibly has to do with the pigeons. But yeah, I can't divulge all my secrets.
Oh, of course not.
But that is one that I'm definitely interested in. But I have more than enough ideas and very little time these days to get them done. So I'm actually, after the writing retreat in Brown County, I'm spending a week camping alone to just get away and write, and that's often how I have to do it. I have to get away from normal life for a week or two, and sometimes as much as a month.
Is that you in a tent or a cabin? How do you do it?
Yeah, we have a camper. As we've become empty nesters, we have upgraded from a pop-up to a full self-contained camper, and so my husband's going to pull it up and hook it up all set in Brown County, and I'm going to sit with Lucy, my assistant, and do some writing. And then the kids and him are going to come spend the weekend and hang out. But a lot of times I'm always looking for someone's home. I do a lot of dog sitting or house sitting, which is also a really great way for me to get away and spend some time writing. For whatever reason, I seem to do more writing and have more less distracted time when I'm not at home.
So if you can get out there someplace nice and quiet, like with the Ohio River, possibly, yes. Playing a significant role.
Yes, and water seems to be a big part of it. We have friends that used to have a lake house down in Lake Cumberland, and I used to go down there for weeks at a time, and it was on a gorgeous lake, and there's just something about this inspiring, location. It's very quiet. I don't have the distractions of daily life. And I wish I could say that I could, be as fluent of a writer at home, but I'm just not. And so I've had to figure that out.